Hey, want to welcome everybody today. Super excited about our guest, the one and only Claudia Castillo. Claudia, thanks for being in studio with us today. How's it going?
It's good. Thanks for having me. I'm
Oh,
excited.
I'm excited too.
This looks cool.
Oh, right on. Well, I love that you and I go back a ways and always seem to have really good conversations.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we just happen to have a couple cameras on this one, so it'll be great.
Yeah.
So again, I'm kind of spoiled because we go back a ways, but do me a favor, from like a 25,000 foot view, how would you describe yourself? Who's Claudia?
I think Claudia. I'll give you my Instagram handle, Claudia On The Go. I
Ooh.
think it's very fitting. It happens to be like I'm everywhere doing something somewhere, and then or downtime at home. But it's just like everyone's like, "What adventure did you go on today?" or "What'd you do this last weekend?" And so it's always been like on the go.
Claudia on the go.
Claudia On The Go.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's
It's-
amazing.
Yeah.
So let's go. I know that about you, so that's awesome. But let's go back. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Fort Morgan, Northeastern Plains.
Okay.
We actually immigrated from Mexico in 1992.
Okay.
My grandma had 9 kids. The oldest one, he kind of not dictated, but he set foot in Fort Morgan, had been in Dallas, Nebraska, and decided on Fort Morgan.
Okay.
There's a beef slaughtering company out there, and
right.
so he found work, and then here comes the other 8 children after him. So everyone was in Fort Morgan.
Oh, it's amazing.
And we didn't live anywhere else. So it was summer of 92 that we got here
Okay.
and just grew up in Fort Morgan. That's all I knew. And then just left home at 18, went to college, and Denver Metro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what part of Mexico is your family?
It's called San Luis Potosí.
Okay.
And so I always tell people, if you look at the map of Mexico, it looks like a little Boston Terrier outline.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm closest to the mouth.
Oh,
If you look
okay.
at- yeah.
All right.
I was kind of like the Michigan hand,
Yeah,
Boston
yeah.
Terrier. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Do you go back a lot, or do you have still family in Mexico?
Yeah. So my parents actually retired end of 2021.
Okay.
And so they were done with the beef plant life, and they were ready to head back home. And I was like, if you can, like, take advantage now, like, just do it. And so they're down there. They'll come up a couple times out of the year, and then I'll go visit a couple times out of the year. Be like there like a week or so.
Okay.
And my brother got married down there recently, and so I have a little nephew down there.
Alright.
So that's 2, and then I have an older nephew up here. So it's cool just to get out there and just visit and hang out.
Yeah. And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Older brother and a younger sister. So
Okay.
I'm the middle.
Finally? I totally think you're like the oldest, right?
like
Because you're like a trailblazer.
I don't know. I was like, I wondered if I was supposed to be.
Okay, right on. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How would you describe yourself growing up? Were you the kid that was, were you a rule follower? Were you a rule breaker? Were you quiet? What were you like as a kid?
I was a bookworm. Big bookworm. Like, loved to read, and still to this day, like, just getting back to it over the last couple of years. But
Yeah.
big book reader, good student in school, like, loved school. Got to go on, like, the special trips they had, like, a gifted and talented, like, in 4th and 5th grade.
All right.
So got to go, like, Glenwood Springs or do just, like, extra activities, like, in the summer.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So
Okay.
big, just role follower in that side of things, but, like, got to explore, like,
Okay.
opportunities that were just there. And I was like, it was really cool.
What genre of reading is your favorite? Do you like best? Novels, fiction, history? What do you like to read?
Kind of am into everything. So there's like self-help. There's like rom-coms, like,
Okay.
and then there's like autobiographies, and then there's just a slew.
So you're everything. Give me all the info.
Give me everything. And I think it's cool because like you can just pick up a conversation with anyone on a topic and you just relate.
Yeah.
And it's cool just to, I don't know, just the knowledge that you have from
Right.
everything you've picked up on.
What are you reading right now?
The Practice of Groundedness for
Okay.
my more formal book. And
Okay.
then my funnish book, I haven't gotten through it, but it's Once a Runner. So just starting a running journey over the last year. And I was like, oh, here's a running book.
Well, I know in Atlanta we were both in Atlanta back in February,
Yeah.
and you, knocked out a quick half marathon?
Yeah, no biggie. That was my first.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Yeah, it's been a cool journey. I mean, a year ago, I was struggling to run a mile. And so having accomplished that that was maybe April last year that I was barely starting the running journey.
Yeah.
Struggling with a mile to do a half marathon, the 13.1 miles in February. I was like, wow, am I me? Like, is that?
Yeah.
So it was like it's been a cool journey to be on.
So how long have you had the Claudia On The Go handle? Is that new, or are you like fully growing into that now?
I think growing into it. I
Okay.
started,
Booming.
so I got licensed January of 2018.
Okay.
I had been off the Instagram and Facebook for a few years,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what, I should probably get back on. And that was my LLC was like Go RJC,
Okay.
and from there it was like Raul Juanita Castillo, so my parents. And the Go, my nephew was sitting on my lap, my oldest nephew was sitting on my lap, and I go, what do I name this? And he goes, Go, and that was his word. At the
Okay.
time, he was 3. Yeah, I think he was 3. And so just Go RJC Realty for the LLC side of things, right? Started before like for my S Corp and stuff. And then the Instagram handle just came as Go Claudia.
Okay.
And it just, or Claudia On The Go is what happened.
All right.
Yeah. And ever since then, I was like, should I put Claudia on the pause sometimes or Claudia on the chill?
Oh,
Because I'm like, am I moving too much?
Oh, no.
So it's been cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's incredible.
So growing into it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. And I want to talk about that stuff more
Yeah.
too. For Morgan, you graduate high school. Said you went to college. Where'd you go to college?
I actually did Johnson and Wales.
Okay.
And here in Denver, so they were off like Montview in Quebec.
Yeah.
In Denver.
Okay.
Campus is closed since then. But I actually did a business degree in a culinary school, is what I tell people. So that was.
Okay.
I know.
Break that down for me so I understand.
So Johnston Wells is known a lot for internships with hospitality, with we get a lot of internships within the restaurant industries and just a lot of like culinary. Hospitality is big, sports entertainment. It's huge with them. And then they had a business side of things, a business degree. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I'm a first generation college student. So I didn't have anyone to like really talk to and be like, what do you go to college? Like, how do you decide what major? And so I was like, business sounds good.
Okay.
And I ended up doing the business degree. And I tell people in a culinary school, because everyone's like, oh, you're a chef. And no, I like to cook, but not a chef.
Okay.
And so going there was cool because you had the friends that were like baking and pastries, or their finals were their restaurants. And so during finals time, we're sitting there like at the 10 top table, just having food and being served on as their finals. So it was a cool experience. Yeah. So it was awesome.
What did you do after you graduated from college?
I got into with First Bank, so I started a management training program, and it's kind of cool just looking back and all the little dots of how the people that you know along the way and things just start to connect. A guy I went to college with did his internship at the Hispanic Chamber in Denver downtown, and so I did my internship there. That manager knew one of the branch presidents in Wheat Ridge, and so I was getting ready to ask her, be brave, and be like, hey, can you connect me with this bank? When she went up to me that morning, she goes, hey, get your resume ready. We're having coffee with Denise next Thursday. And I'm like, we're doing what?
Okay.
So it was cool. And that just, it was a couple years at the bank. I think I was trying to figure it out, and I took, it was 2 years at the bank. I took some time off for like a year. I went actually back to Johnson Wales and became a financial aid planner because I was like, I don't know what I want. And, so I did that for a few months, and then I was like, this isn't for me. And so then I go back to the bank.
Yeah.
And did that for another 4 years.
What are some of the lessons you learned at the bank? What did that experience teach you?
I think just management of people was one. I was in a management role after the management trainee, but how do you win people over? Not necessarily the management of people, but how do you win them over to help them so they're helping themselves, but also helping as a collab, but those around them.
Okay.
And so that was cool to see, because just the way that you treat someone and they're treating others, and then it just goes full circle. Right. So that was a cool experience.
Okay.
I think experiences and experiences in how do you give someone the gift. We had concert tickets or basketball games or Cavs games all the time. And so we had extra, and I'm like, hey, who from our client pool has never been or probably should be, experience something like this. So that was really cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went back to the bank.
Yeah.
And so how many total years were you?
6.
6 total years.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened after the bank?
I had sold my townhome. And that summer I had transferred to a couple locations. I was at my last location in April. And come that July, August, I was like, what am I doing? Like, what's happening? I was working 50 plus hours a week. At that time, the role wasn't as defined as it is now, as just a loan officer position.
Okay.
I was doing like branch oversight. And if the tellers were off, like we're staying until the end of the night. If the manager has an issue with another, I call it an agent, with another employee, then I'm the third person to verify, like, hey, how are things going? And at the same time, you're growing deposits, you're growing
Yeah.
like loans, like you have to meet your cross sales, all of this, right, is happening. And I'm like, my parents are like, you're working like 50 plus hours a week. Like, are you okay?
Okay.
And I'm like in my, what is that, like early to mid 20s at that point. And so I'm like, I don't know what I'm, what I'm doing. And so the townhome sold. There was savings. I took the next 6 months. Well, that was end of August. I think I left. Took a few months to myself. Rode my bike. I tried to go fishing, which isn't my thing. I could hook my fingers really good.
Okay.
So I was like, that's not me. And I did just kind of took in some time to rest, just R&R. And I was going to go back and get my mortgage license officially with this today. And I studied, did all of it, passed the test. And then I was like, I don't think that's it anymore. Like, I don't think that's the path to go down.
Well, there seems to be a pattern that you get highly educated, try something. If you don't like it, even though you're successful, you don't like it, you go back, get more education, go try something else.
Yeah.
If it's not for you, even though you're successful at it,
Yeah.
you go back, look at what are the other options, step back.
Yeah.
So I love the resilience of just step back up to the plate, especially somebody who's in like their mid-20s at this point in time, right?
And like, you don't know what to do. You're like,
trying to figure it out.
just trying to figure it out. Yeah. Like, what's next, or what am I supposed to do next? So
Okay.
that was,
So, yeah, but those couple months off that you took, was there, you mentioned fishing, and maybe we save that for its own special podcast because it looks like it'd be great to hear about that. Riding your bike, was there any other soul searching? What kind of other stuff were you doing? It sounds like you were recovering some, right?
Yeah, I think there was a soul searching, like figuring out who am I, right?
Yeah.
Like you've been defined by this period of you're in high school, right? Here's who you're supposed to be, or here's what you're supposed to do. You're in college, and here's what you're doing. And then there's this period of like you're in professionalism, you're in the corporate world,
Right.
and it's like, what do you do? Like what happens here? And I think I just needed that break afterwards to be like, who am I?
Yeah.
And it's been, I think we were talking briefly the other day that we're on this just journey of life of discovering who we are. We'll never know. And
Right.
Like on our last day, we won't know who we are. And it's just this cool, who are you, finding how you help, and just going from there.
What did you learn anything for those couple months off? Other than maybe the bank thing wasn't for you?
Yeah.
But like what?
I think just coming back to me in the sense of like where do I lay, or where do I want to go further? And the bank, I learned a lot, like very grateful for those opportunities and what I experienced. But like, how do I do something for myself?
Okay.
And where I eventually want to be in life. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but like, what is it doing something for myself?
Right.
So I think that's where it started.
Okay.
Where are the wheels spinning? Where am I headed?
Yeah.
I think is what those moments were.
No, understandable. So, take those couple months off. What's the next thing? What's the next step?
Yeah. I got my real estate license.
Okay.
I had a couple realtors like call me like, hey, you're not at the bank anymore. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, you should get your real estate license. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be good at it. Like, that was just, it was never in the cards, never something that I thought this is what I'm going to do. And so that November, I took the leap. By the end of 2017, I passed the test, and January of 2018, license was active. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So it was cool.
Where did that journey start? Like what? What was your first year like? Tell me about your first year.
It was not good. I would think the first 2 years were questionable. The first 2 years I thought to myself, I was like, did I make the right choice? Like,
What have I gotten myself into, right?
Because you go from a corporate setting, right? Like, or you've grown, like this is and it was like an 8 to 6 job, right? But here's what you do, you get in, here's what you have to work on. And I didn't understand that on the real estate side of things, that I had to be the one to set that expectations and the standards of what I wanted my business to look like.
Yeah.
So I was sinking for the first 2 years, not swimming. I was sinking, coming up for water here and there. They were successful years. They weren't bad for being a first year agent. Like if you look at norms, like I was doing well, but it wasn't what I needed to cover my expenses.
Okay.
And so I was like, what happened?
What happened to where you got in rhythm?
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I had started at a different brokerage.
Okay.
And so then I had a conversation with Jorge Armstrong, who was actually a realtor I helped with deals when I was at the bank.
Okay.
And Jorge was with Keller Williams already.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, let me just show you what I'm doing. Just showed me his tracker, what he kept doing, just his daily actions. We had breakfast one day, and the next thing I knew, I was sharing an office with him.
Okay.
So it was the people that were around me that I heard them on the phone, that they were producing, that they were just consistent in what they were doing. So end of 2019, yeah, I joined Keller Williams, got into Bold.
Okay. That's a game
And
changer for a
yeah,
lot of people.
Bold was a game changer for me.
Okay.
So we're sitting there doing 100 dials a week. And then we're probably October at this time. And the next thing I know, by April, I had capped. And I was like, oh, I'm like, this is good. Like, this is really good. So I just got on this. This is what I need to do. I just need to be in communication with people because
Yeah.
I was afraid to pick up the phone, Scott. I was like, no.
Well, you're one of the most upbeat, kind, inspirational people I know. Because like whenever I run into him, I'm like, hey, it's Claudia. Hey, it's good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I could see how that translates. That the first 2 years, were you kind of on your own? Did you feel alone?
I felt alone. I was in a virtual brokerage, so on a cloud-based.
Okay, yeah.
And my mentor, super great guy, really taught me how to write really great contracts. So I had that, but I didn't understand the business. I didn't understand that I needed a game plan. I didn't understand that there was follow-up. There was things that I needed to do in order to stay ahead and to actually create it to be.
Okay, so actually plugging into like a community.
A community.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you could kind of observe and.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a weekly call, and yeah, I could see people and we're all working from home, but it wasn't the same.
Okay.
And so getting into the office for me is where that changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So it was cool. But no,
Okay.
that before coming to KW, I'm like, if I make it this year, I make it. If I don't, then this was not the career
It
for
wasn't
me.
that's the career.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I came in with that mentality that third year,
All or
the start of the
nothing.
third year. I'm like, if it's going to work out for me, it's going to work out for me.
Once you figured out what you needed, like the tasks that actually produce results, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it easy for you at that point, or was it natural for you at that point in time?
I think it became easier. I think I had a really good conversation with the team leader at the time, the office I was at. That's like, you're helping people. You're not selling. You're helping, and I think that helped to the mind shift on there was big. Because I was like, I never thought I'd be in sales and blah, blah, blah. But it was, what story was I telling myself?
Right.
And so I think that was the going into it.
Yeah.
And so that third year, just boom. And it's just kind of continued to give that way.
So when you committed to being a servant
Yeah.
is when the gates opened up.
Yeah.
All right. I love that.
And I don't know. I believe in like the law of attraction and all of this, right? Like you do good and life gives you good.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in a helping, I'm serving, I'm doing this. And all of a sudden my phone's just ringing and things are happening. And I'm meeting awesome people along the way. And it's just been like, okay, I'm here to help.
Okay.
And it's just been like, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And
Yeah.
I'd love to,
Right.
So it's been cool.
Well, and I also think that too. You're running a business at a very high level, like you do. But I mean, the concept of getting to help and serve people for a living while being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how ideal is that? You know what I mean? You get to be you, Claudia on the go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do these things. That's incredible. So you came over, you plugged into a community, you started figuring this stuff out. What did the next couple of years look like?
I got into productivity coaching, so I started helping the newer agents kind of figure out, like, I wish I would have started here, and having them, like, kind of, like, I was like, don't do what I did, is what I would start with, and I'm like, plug in and get connected, and so I kind of went the productivity coaching route for a couple years.
Okay, you were coaching other agents.
Where I was coaching other agents, and so that was, what's the best way to learn something is to teach it.
Right.
And so that became, like, just an easier, like,
Okay.
just way to get going, and I was doing my business, and I was helping them, and I fill in my cup more with helping others. Is what it felt like, so.
Okay, really cool. And you're still in production while you're doing that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so still producing, helping others, and cool seeing the stories of, like, those agents that were, like, just on the verge of, like, hey, if it wasn't for you, like, I would be out. Like, I was getting ready to hang my license, and I'm like, but why? And it's cool. That's been like I don't know, it filled me up. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can see, especially in the world we live in today, in any given day, right? To have somebody show up and give you hope, or let you know, hey, you can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the world needs more of that, right?
Yeah.
So that's incredible that you're empowering, and it's like a force multiplier, right? If you can help change that person's life, how many lives are they going to go out and change? Which is where I think a lot of magic happens.
Yeah.
Right. So after the PC coaching, you actually moved up Longmont area, right? and then you got into running an organization. Yeah.
I got into so that's I didn't know where this journey was going to take me, so getting a licensed productivity coach. Longmont calls and they have an opening for a productivity coach, and at the time I had stepped back a little bit because I had gotten really busy, and so I was like, I should probably, and my friend was moving up there and he goes, you should check this out, have a conversation. I did it for like about a year or so as productivity coach, and then the team leader role opens up, and it's just like, hey, can you run this organization, can you grow it, can you help like turn the ship around? And it was 2 years of learning. Like
What do you think, like, with somebody who doesn't know what the team leader role is, how would you describe it?
I would describe you're helping agents grow and develop, but you're also growing the community, the organization, the resources that you have. It's not so much transactional, but it's relational. And you're cultivating relationships in the organization itself, but in the community, in the bigger picture, and how do we give back as an organization? So there's a lot on the plate, I think, of the team leader role that goes without being seen. And so kudos to you. There's a lot of work that's done that it, like, if you like spend a day with me type of thing, that you're like, oh, you run how many miles an hour? Like, but it's a cool, I don't know, it feels good to give back in that. When you have those agents that you're connecting with and you're able to give back.
And sometimes it feels like you get to cast a little bit wider net, right?
Instead of just the newer ones, you're in the top 20.
Yeah. Well, and I know you were amazing at that. That's when we kind of crossed paths, right? And so you crushed as a team leader, and then you decide you're going to switch things up again. Right? What is that looking like today? Because you've been I'm not saying but you're used to being in these leadership roles and these coaching roles and all this other stuff, and now you're I don't want to say you're killing it back in production. We were talking earlier. Like, I feel like I have all this time because I'm doing all this other stuff. What's the world looking like today for you?
I'm just focused on the one role, and it's been. I'll be good. I've had a good business year. Like, it was slower end of last year, slow start to the beginning of this year, and it's just ramped up. And a couple of listings coming soon. Business is coming in, and it's just like a cool feeling to be like, oh, okay. And I'm like, but wait, what's next? So there's a little bit of that, and I'm like, no, just stay on one track for a moment.
Right. Well, in addition to the business stuff, right? You've taken some pretty cool trips recently. Tell me, what's the coolest trip you've taken? 6 months. There's probably
I was like,
one now.
I did a lot.
We'll
get into a bingo card. I'll tell you what I did with that started this.
Oh, yeah.
This year it's been Vietnam. So I was in Vietnam for 2 weeks. And it was cool. And so Asia's never been on my list of places to visit. It's never been, Germany's on my bucket list. Someday I'll get out to Germany. South Africa, and I want to get down to Peru. Iceland's on there. I just want to explore the regions of the world, right? And my friend's parents are from Vietnam, and so they actually met here in Denver, and they were 10 minutes. They grew up 10 minutes away from each other in the city, in Ho Chi Minh City and Saigon. And they met in Denver. And she goes, hey, we're doing a big family reunion. I've gone to Mexico where you're from and your family is from. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, send me what flight you're on. And so I booked it. And so it was a cool experience. It was interesting to me because there's overlap with Mexico. Where my parents are from, where I was born and kind of grew up. And I'm like, there's overlap in some of the communities. And then there's the big city stuff and there's overlap. But it was cool seeing it in a different world. I don't know how to
What does travel do for you?
I don't know. I think it just opens up that there's more possibilities, that we're more connected than we think. It's almost what that does to me. I always, it's the way you carry yourself and everything. You have this sense of adventure about you, right? And I think that's really, really admirable. What other sort of stuff do you do when you're not slaving away in real estate? What other stuff are you doing? Just slaving away on the pavement. So I started running. I started running. I'll do one long run on Sundays with some friends. Started a run club. In Brighton. So we have our private Facebook page. Hey, we're running at 7 a.m. Here's where we're gonna meet up. Look for the signs. So that's new. As of after family reunion, actually.
Oh, wow.
Started that, and then I actually probably work out 4 to 5 times a week in a gym. and doing some hybrid training. So
Okay.
where I did like a high rocks competition, DECA competition. So where you're running on tired legs and you have stations that you're doing in between them.
All right.
So it's been a cool adventure, and just watching the endurance of what your body can do. And really, it's been that mental game.
Right.
So that's been a cool,
Yeah.
just a cool eye-opening side of
Okay.
things, because I'm like, oh, my body doesn't want to give up. My body wants to keep going, but my mind is the one that's like, oh, why am I running? And I did one this past weekend, and I was 12 minutes slower than the last time. But looking at it, I'm like, it was hotter. There were some in-between stations that were longer than the other previous course. And so I was like, you learn from every like competition or every simulation. You learn something that you adjust next time. So it's like this building blocks. And so it's been a cool adventure to be on. Yeah.
And so you didn't beat yourself up. You're like, oh, here's the lesson to take away from
Yeah.
that. That seems to be kind of ingrained in how you choose to operate, huh? Yeah.
It's like, what did I learn here?
Yeah.
And how can I grow from it? Or what was the purpose in this? Instead of saying, oh man, this could have gone here, or I should have done this, or could have, should have.
Yeah.
It's more of like, okay, here's what I learned. Here's what I'm going to prove it next time. Or this was meant to be learned along the way for whatever reason.
Right.
And then down the road, something else happens in life. And I'm like, oh, that connects over here. This happened over here. And now I can push forward with this.
That's what they were trying to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back. You're pretty inspirational, I think.
I appreciate that.
Let's talk about the bingo card.
Yeah.
That blew my mind when you showed that to me, however long ago it was.
Yeah. So TikTok, I was on Insta, I was like on the reels looking at things, and this was 2024 personally was just like a tougher year.
Okay.
And so I was like, I don't know what's next. I'm trying to figure out, going back to long-term relationship had ended, and I was like, going back to who am I?
Yeah.
What do I want? What am I seeking in life? And this reel came up in this video of like this girl that did a TikTok of things I want to accomplish this year. And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. So December 31st of 2024,
Okay.
we're sitting at my neighbor's house. And so I printed all these bingo cards, and we have markers, and we're just writing out like, hey, this is what we're doing. And I took that bingo card and I put it on my fridge, and there was like trips. And it was some things that were small too. It was like, oh, I need a pedicure. I should probably get more manicures. I should focus on me this year.
Okay.
Were kind of those things on there. And there was like reading books, and I don't know what else. Oh, I did a lot of traveling that year in 25.
Okay.
And it was cool. At the end of the year, I looked at that card. I didn't get a full blackout, but
Right.
I got, like, if you look at that thing, how many times I left the state, how many adventures I went on.
Yeah.
It was so cool. You could see the progression in running too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I have like the running and the competitions, the traveling down here, all my books on this other side. And I was like, I did that. 2025 was a little bit rough with the shakeup in the office and doing all of that in Longmont. But looking back at it, and I was like, this was 11 and a half good months of like good stuff. And I'm like, and so to focus from all the changes that happened, to focus there instead of like, oh, this was rough. It was a little rough at the end, but look at everything else that was accomplished. So that was a cool,
Well, and it's a reminder that's in front of you all the time, right? Because it's real easy to feel alone or decide to be depressed or whatever else. So when those trophies are sitting in front of you every day, like, I can do this.
I could do this. Oh, I've done this. So like I've done harder. Oh, look how much I've like sped up on my speeds, or like how much faster I took off and like I'm running 10 minutes faster in under 6 weeks, and I'm like, oh, and like who would have said I was running 10Ks, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say you have a 2026 bingo card?
Yeah. There's one.
Are you willing to share a couple things that might be on it?
There was actually a Vietnam trip, a beach trip that I took. And actually went to Cancun like 2 weeks after coming back from Vietnam. So, you know.
That's awesome.
There's nothing else just yet as far as trips goes. I think this year I put 12 books. There's 3 bingo boxes that are all combined into one.
Okay.
There's, for the longest time, there's always been like on my heart, like write a book. And so there's like chapter 1, chapter 2, or chapter 3. So there's a couple of boxes that will lead to the book in the future. Yeah.
And we've talked about this. You kind of have a plan fleshed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking at it, and I think we go through these growths and who we are, and It's love letters to the woman I became, because it's like, what could I tell my younger self, or what, like, I don't know if it's in the business. What's happened is like the like-minded individuals or stories that you see, and like I was like, oh, I've gone through, life hasn't always been easy, and sometimes I get that 20s was a defining period of like who I became and how I've learned to grow from the tough moments. And in having that, like I've come across like strong, independent women, and it's just like, how do you ask for help, and then how do you go and you live on and you do something more and you do something for yourself and you choose yourself. And so it's kind of this, what I'm kind of picturing, like this letter to myself of, hey, you're going through this, but just remember this and ask yourself this today, and you're going to look back and know that you pushed through. And so, yeah, just looking at like at the corporate room, right? Like we didn't grow up talking spreadsheets and balance, profit and loss statements. Like had no clue what that was. So I learned the corporate English, but then at home, how do you speak that? And then how do your parents understand what you're doing if you're coming from a background of like they have no clue what that is, and how do you help them grow and continue? But then how do you help everyone else? And then how do you not get stuck in that, like I don't understand the boardroom, I shouldn't be here, versus taking the step of like, no, you belong here. And so that's the kind of the story that I want to tell with the book of like, you belong where you're at now, and this is why, and just take that step of faith and go forward with it.
So it sounds like, just talking your story out, there's all these opportunities that you chose to take, or these challenges you chose to take on. What were some of the limiting beliefs you had, right, going into some of these things, and how did you beat it? I know it's a huge question, but like, what's some of the head trash maybe you were
the head trash was like, why you, like, you don't know what this is, like, this isn't, like, you don't know how to help, you don't, like, on the financial side of things, I was like, but you've never done that before, you've never closed 50 million in volume, but I'm like, but I know how, I know the resources, I know how I can get there. And so it was a lot of that, like, fighting myself mentally to say, I can do this, or I don't know the answer, but I know where to get the answer. And I think the resourcefulness is what helped me push through some of that. Like in the team leader role, especially, I think there was some intimidation for me, because I was like, how am I going to coach an agent that's closing 100 deals a year when I've done like the 25? Like, how do I, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so a lot of those limiting beliefs came, but I was like, but I have the resources, I have the people. And I think just knowing that, I tell people I know enough to be dangerous in a lot of areas, that it helps me in more than I can think of, that I have the call a friend for the things that I need. Like, or, hey, I need to connect you with so-and-so and so-and-so. And then they start being friends, or the connection grows and they help each other in a bigger aspect. So I think it's knowing that I can be that. I think the word is oracle for people is, I think, what helped me get out of my head with things.
Well, it sounds like you've been you've always been a good student, right? So you really get it, consuming information, processing it, sharing it. But it also, and so that I can see where that builds confidence, right? Yeah. You're smart enough to learn and grasp and do this stuff. But it also sounds like you have a sense of confidence around the people you've chosen to surround yourself with, right? And so you get to lean on their expertise or prowess or whatever that looks like, right? So that almost makes you like part of like a team of superheroes, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, we can figure this out. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's super cool.
And I think it's been cool watching the progression of it. And like, I think just how you grow and your circle of people that starts coming along, or that you're just gravitated to, like, hey, like I need like the next pull me up, or how do we help each other grow? Right. And that like-mindedness of individuals, and we might not know it all together, or not know it, but together we can accomplish more.
I think that's exactly it. Because I think being in the right room with the right people, it removes so many doubts. Yeah. And you're like, I think with this team or this group of these friends, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So you're not. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm processing this. I think that's super cool. So the limiting beliefs were almost like a imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, and I have called it imposter syndrome. Like I had gone to the therapist before, and I was like, I think it's this imposter syndrome, and here's what I'm dealing with. And she goes, no, you belong in the room. Like, that's your room to step into. Like, you're called for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I think it's still, there's moments I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Like, and I was like, no, I can. Like, I'm capable. I can do this. And so it's just those reminders. But imposter syndrome was huge. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I think I still, I have it too in different ways and forms and stuff.
Yeah.
You're just like, but then I think if you take a step back and you go, I can figure this out.
Yeah.
And maybe this problem isn't for me to solve, but maybe I can point it to the person who it is for them solve and not have any ego about it.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah.
That's exactly it. Or like the handoff of something else, and they're like, "Oh, but you could have." And I was like, "No, but that wasn't for me to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm here to help those that I'm meant to help.
Yeah.
Or be in the rooms where I'm meant to be in the rooms,
Right.
and it's okay. And if I know that it's not an opportunity for me, and I'm like, "Oh, Scott would be good for this," then I'll be like, "Hey, Scott, you should connect with so and so."
We've actually done that a couple times back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, you need to talk to my friend Claudia.
Yeah.
Or you need to talk to my friend Scott.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because
So
it's that abundance mentality. There's a lot for everyone.
where do you think that came from for you, that abundance mentality?
I don't know if there's a.
You think it's your wiring? You wired that
I
way?
don't know if it's or I don't know if it's the wiring or when I started the self help journey, like in I think it was 2018 when I read like the first few books or something.
Okay.
I don't know if that's where it started, but I think it's always been, let me help the next person, or I grew up in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
And so knowing maybe that's it, right? Like,
Okay.
oh, hey, it's your station, my station. Like, hey, you only had a few, grab this next table.
Okay.
And maybe, I don't know where it came from.
What was the first book in that self-help journey you just talked about?
I was like, it's the Unf Yourself with Gary Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that book.
I read that one.
It's like, I'll keep it PG.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Then that was the first one. And then the Rachel Hollis book started.
Okay.
It was Girl, Wash Your Face type
Okay.
of thing. I can't remember what other ones. They're all on my Audible list
Yeah.
on there. And then it started with like Man's Search for Meaning. And so it got in deeper. And it's
Victor.
just
Yeah.
Victor Frankl.
Yeah.
And so it started into all of that. And then I did a personal development program probably, I think it was 2023.
Okay.
And just kind of started looking inward. And it's like, am I playing the victim card? Am I true to who I can? Am I meeting my potential? Is more of what it was. Because I felt like I played small.
Okay.
And there's still moments of like the imposter syndrome telling me to play small, or this isn't for you, or that type of things. And that program really helped with kind of like the programming, I guess you could say, of like the story that I told myself of like, that's not my shoes to fill, or that's too big of a shoe for me to get into,
Right.
and going into all of that.
Your story is so awesome. It really is. There's so much around this self-talk thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we give it enough actual talk about it, right? Because, I mean, and some of these programs and some of these books and everything you reference and everything else, it forces you to take a real no shit view of who you are, where you're at, and then you got to start thinking about where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right? And so you got to be vulnerable with yourself, or you're just kind of playing along.
Yeah.
Right? And so that takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah.
Was there something that drove you to the point where you said, you know what, I got to do this? Or did you trip and fall into that book? Or was there something that said, you know what, I got to get real and get right?
I think it was, I had left the bank. I was doing that first year of real estate. It was right around the first time when I got licensed.
Yeah.
And I was helping out a nonprofit with some processing of applications.
Of course, you can help me out on nonprofit. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I was doing that, and I was just like I've known this corporate career to be who I am, and like my identity, but like, who am I?
Yeah.
And so those questions kind of started there, and that's where that book came up. And I'm like, why am I stopping myself? Why am I not moving forward? And I think it'll go forever, right? Like, of the journey of self that we're talking about. But it was, I think, in that moment that it was just like, I left the bank. Where am I headed? And of course, my parents were very much 24 years, 25 years almost, like in their jobs. Like,
Yeah.
And for them, it's like, well, why are you changing jobs? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, no. Like, this is, I gotta find out who I am and what am I here to help with?
Yeah.
And so that kind of started the journey of the self-help and breaking the limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an element of bravery in that too. Being like, I'm going to step away from this and go figure this out.
Yeah.
And so that seems to be kind of a repeat pattern in your story as well.
I was like, you know what? That's interesting though, because I think I've never looked at it as bravery.
Yeah. I mean, what else can it be?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I ever looked at it as a bravery. I'm like, okay, gotta go figure it out. Gotta see what's next and go from there.
Oh, it's remarkable. That is remarkable. So to just wrap up, what would your advice be to newer agents getting started today?
I think that advice would be like, don't be afraid to take the leap.
Be brave.
Be brave. Yeah, be
Okay.
brave. And don't listen to that little voice inside.
Okay.
And just really, and I'm not the best with my affirmations, but I have an affirmation that I will repeat back to myself to know that I am capable of this. I am standing center stage where I need to be and how I'm growing. Do I know what that future holds? No, but I know that every day is getting me closer to wherever I'm meant to be.
Okay.
So just to make sure that take the step today and it'll lead to where you need to be.
Do you ever think about the person, consciously thinking or intentionally thinking about the person you're trying to become? Because I know a lot of times people have goals and they have tasks and things they want to complete. But I think it has more weight when you go, by doing this, I become this version of myself for this person. Do you think about some of that stuff that way?
I don't think I've looked at it much. I think I was having a good conversation with a friend the other day of just being in the present more right now. I think because I feel like I've ran a million miles an hour for the last few years that I'm like, how do I just slow down and live now? But I think I do one day want to be the person that continues to give back and the person that just has this, I don't know if I'll ever figure all of it out, right? Like what we're saying, but I think just having a good balance and whatever life has to throw at me and not having to worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And then why should people work with you?
No, I'm there to make sure that you understand the process from the beginning to end.
Okay.
And probably 80-90% of my business is Spanish speakers and they're first-time home buyers.
All right.
And so finding that they have the majority of everything in their language.
Okay.
And so that's my big goal. I know I was translating at 16 for a purchase of a home. Don't know what I was saying at 16, right?
Right.
I was at the closing table. Who knows what I said?
Right.
But I was translating, and now that I can be in that capacity to have someone that's going to be able to help in their language is huge. So that's how I'm able to help.
Tell me, do you have some passion around that niche that you
Yeah.
tell me about that?
No, I think about my parents' first house that they bought, and like it was like an 80-20 loan, and it was an adjustable rate mortgage. They had no clue what was happening, and it's like, oh, I wish they would have known more. And then bankruptcy happened a few years later, and it's just like, holy cow, like how did they know what they were getting into? And it wasn't the mortgage per se, it was other financial decisions, but like had they been educated before, how could things have changed? And so for me, it's the education piece, and how do we not create these levels of debt and depth of like you have to be here, but how do we use real estate and other assets to get you going and start creating that generational wealth and break these barriers that seem unattainable? So I think that for me is that like how do we help you today grow past what you're growing now? And yes, this is a first-time home buyer house, but this is the move up is next in 2 years, 3 years, and what are we doing? Okay. So that's my goal. Like have people better off than when they started.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you every room I've seen you walk into or every interaction I've had with you, you're always trying to help people. So, and I think that's who you are at your core and in your heart. So I'm so grateful to know you.
No, thank you. Yeah.
And thank you for spending time with me today to talk about this. I'm sure we'll have another session. We'll talk about your fishing adventures, right? Or we'll go into some self-help book breakdowns or something like that.
Yeah.
But just thanks for who you are. And you're so impressive. And I think there's been a theme of breaking barriers you just talked about and bravery. So you're an inspiration and awesome. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Everybody, thanks for joining us today with the amazing Claudia. We'll see you next time. Thanks.